recording won't work, but fingers crossed that's all working now. So thank you for being here. So today is all about the Yoga Sutras, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask if you actually read the book or not, because it doesn't matter, because today we're going to have a look at just a small portion of the Yoga Sutras, because sometimes, and actually this came up with someone a moment ago, sometimes depth is better than breadth when it comes to our practice. You know, we can touch on lots of different things, but actually, unless we go deep with at least one of them, then we're unlikely to see any results. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and you will have a copy of this handout in resources area of the platform. And I'm taking the words here from one of my teachers, David G. I don't know if anyone knows David G, but he used to work at the Deepak Chopra Center. So he used to work with Deepak, he trained with Deepak, and then trained to help him at the center and did his own spiritual quest, and is now a teacher of meditation teachers. And I love him because he doesn't look like the average meditation teacher. I'm not sure there's a look, but you know what I mean. Sometimes people can be very disconnected from the real world. Hello. And can just feel very spiritual, but they're just a bit, detached. Whereas David G, it's got a lovely way about him. So I would certainly recommend his stuff if you're interested. Let me just move the puppy. Oh, bless you. What are you doing? You want to get involved? So today we're going to have a look at the 8 limbs of yoga, which form part of the Yoga Sutras, if the puppy allows me to. And so we'll go through them individually and have a chat about each of them to see whether there's anything that really rings true with you, anything that doesn't feel right, and we can have a discussion about that. So the first limb of yoga, so what I should say is the 8 limbs of yoga was basically the context behind what is yoga. In the West, we often think of yoga as just a movement practice, but that was never the intention of yoga. It was about coming to this state of oneness, this state of awakening, this state of allowing this individual self to drop away and just connect with all that is. So spiritual awakening. And according to Patanjali, there was 8 different ways that we can engage with yoga to come to this level of oneness, to this level of awakening. And the first one is yamas. So if we think about this in terms of, in Christian terms, this would be like the 10 commandments. So thou shalt not, the thou shalt not list. So according to Patanjali, the main things that we need to be thinking about is not being violent, being true to our words and our thoughts, non-stealing, conscious choice making regarding our sexual behavior, and an absence of greed. And then we come on to the niyamas, which is more like the positive spin on the yamas, which come down to, so again, if we want to be enlightened, we need to have a cleanliness of body and mind. That seems easier some days than others. Contentment with what one has. So gratitude. And we come back to this time and time again. And just say, is that distracting in the background, the puppy making noises?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Because worst case,
It's
my
wonderful.
eldest is on standby and she can come and get him. Her, I should say. Keep calling it name.
No.
So contentment with what one has, so that tapping into that feeling of gratitude. Austerity. And that's such a funny word, isn't it? And I've sat with this a lot. And I think my interpretation of that is very much not about just sitting in a room with a, no bed, nothing on the floor, and, completely austere, but living within what you actually need, as opposed to constantly wanting more, because that just becomes a vicious cycle. That kind of, I'll be happy when I've got this, I'll be happy when I've got that. So studying the scriptures, or the knowledge of who you are. So getting to know yourself, personal development, the internal work. And surrender to God, or connecting more deeply with your higher power. I don't know about you, but sometimes that can feel tough. That's surrendering to a higher power and thinking it's all sorted, it's fine, I can let go, rather than I must control everything. So if that wasn't hard enough, what I should say actually is Patanjali didn't say that we have to be in perfect harmony with all of these areas at all times. He didn't say that we have to be these amazing, monk-like creatures that just live to these rules all the time, but basically go deep with at least one of these areas, and we will get to a stage of awakening, or that place where we don't feel like we need to control everything, where we are happy with who we are, where we don't feel like we need to be anything other than us. And the third way, someone's in play mode, was the body postures. So this is what we tend to think about when we think about yoga, isn't it? Is the, downward facing dog and our cat cow. But it's just one of the ways that we interact with yoga, or that feeling of oneness. Pranayama, so breathing exercises. And you can calm down, young lady. I think you need to do some pranayama today, don't you? Okay. It's going to be a pain in the bum, I can see it.
She's going to be a Zen dog in a couple of weeks. She'll be sitting there.
As long as I can let go of the need to control. Yeah.
Yes. I think you've just not got to get anxious about it. Just let it happen. She's a puppy.
I know. And she's such a cute puppy as well.
Oh, she is.
So control of our senses. This is a funny one. So what it means is being conscious with our senses rather than taking everything at face value. So seeing beyond our eyes, hearing without our ears. In India, there's still practices that go on where people will purposely blind themselves, or purposely, do things to take away one of their senses to heighten another. I don't recommend that. I would certainly suggest that to work with this, you can do this purely through meditation, working through your senses, working through, that going through, what can I smell? What can I taste? What can I touch? And getting really deep with that. And you'll be, what Patanjali teaches us is if you dwell on any of these senses for long, you will come to a state of bliss. It's almost impossible not to. And then beyond that state is a state.
Sounds good to me.
Say that again.
Sounds good to me.
That's it. Just concentrate on your sense of taste. There you go. Without eating anything. Seeing what you can taste. She's a daft dog. And then these next three. Whoa. Come here now. Workshop, isn't that? These next three
She's
is where
feisty.
it really. She is feisty today. She's having a feisty day. Come here. You want to chew? Chew that. Chew that. What I mean, she was flattered as anything all morning. She's waited till you lovely ladies are here so she can show off her fiery goddess within. Hey, stop you.
They're like children.
Yeah.
They want attention when they feel that your attention is taken elsewhere.
I know, and this is the irony, is like I say, she's been such a good girl all day. And the minute I'm like, well, to be fair, I've been busy all morning. So she's probably thinking, hang on a minute, is it not my turn yet?
Yeah.
So these next three, so three of the ways that we can come to oneness is, hey, so okay, is to work with meditation. So concentration is the first step. We can't really cultivate that kind of inner peace, or what would you even call it? You are distracting me, young lady. That ability to really focus and ability to kind of change our perception of things if we haven't even got the ability to concentrate. I say is I'm struggling to concentrate. The irony. See, she's teaching me, the universe is teaching me. So this is where our meditation practice really helps. And this is why we generally start with honing in our concentration. So initially, our practice is with the breath or with the senses, something that's going to get us to just focus on one thing as opposed to broaden our expansion of the mind, which we then come to. Hey. Calm it down. Calm it down. Having none of it. So until we can concentrate, we can't get beyond that normal thought process. We can't get beyond the ego. We can't get beyond what's here in front of us, like a dog that's nibbling at your fingers. And then next we come into, do you know what? Please bear with me 2 seconds. I am going to grab my daughter so I can actually concentrate on you. 2 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm going to plug myself in because I'm about to run out of charge. So if I disappear, I've not evaporated. Huh? No, I'm on a call.
So have you come over from the old group or just joined this group?
So no, I haven't been part of any previous membership, although I wish I had been. So I contacted Holly a couple of months ago after I did a 5-day free meditation course with her and said, are you running your membership? And she said, not currently, but I'm looking to get it restarted. So I've been here since the re-emergence of the membership.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of newly joined.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Good energy.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, even with puppies in the background. Oh, I can hear someone else's dog now. It's
Yes.
obviously a dog party today.
There you go.
They want to join in. That's what it is. So, sorry about that.
Don't
So
apologise,
when-
honestly.
Have a puffy, be fun, they said. So it's not until we can really hone in our concentration that we can get on to that kind of level where we're not being pulled into ego thoughts. We're not getting pulled away with our thoughts. We're not getting pulled away with our emotions. And until we really hone in that level of concentration, we can't even notice them in our day-to-day life. So that's the first real stage. And then once we've mastered that attention, we come into that cultivating inner perceptual awareness. So it's where we start to let go of the judgments that we hold. You will notice that when I do meditations in the group, I purposely make a point of saying, you know, we're just observing. That's not good, that's not bad. Some days it'll be jittery, some days it won't be. Some days it'll be really smooth and the breath will be really deep in the body. Other days it will feel light and shallow and like your anxiety's on overdrive. To get to that level of enlightenment, it's not about being some perfect state of happiness, bliss all the time. It's about understanding that actually there's a level beyond that. There's a level beyond the anger, the upset, the happiness, the peace, where you can just watch all of those things happening like clouds going across a beautiful sky. And that's what we try to get to come to this state of union with the divine or awakening, or there's so many different ways that we describe this. In Christianity, it's like ascension. But ultimately, that's the goal, to come to a state where we can just deal with it all without having to attach any label to it. So I thought it would be really useful today to spend some time in these steps of 5, 6, and 7. And just explore these a bit more, get a bit deeper with them and see how that feels to you. But before I do that, if anyone has read the book, did you have any observations, or have you got any questions about any of the 8 limbs of yoga?
I have sort of dipped into it, but I don't think it's the sort of book you can actually sit and read. But the bits I've seen really make sense. There was one about if you imagine a stream, you're looking in a stream and it's flowing really fast and it's very muddy, you know, all the water's churned up. You can't see clearly. But when that all calms down, you can see all the stones and bits in the bottom of the stream. And sort of, you know, that's how your mind is. If it's constantly churning, you basically can't see the wood for the trees. You know, that's how I saw it.
And that's so true. And the problem is because of that part of the Yoga Sutras, many people go into meditation thinking that's how you meditate, is you've got to completely clear that stream and make it, which, you know, is our ultimate goal. But then it also holds many people back from actually meditating, because they'll sit in meditation and go, I can't meditate because my mind's too busy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, yeah, your mind's busy, you're alive. You've just started meditating. Congratulations, you know. And, you know, I've been meditating for a long while now, and my mind's still busy. My mind will always be busy. I'm not quite Buddha, and I don't have 24 hours sit under the Bodhi. But, you know, those small steps can make that stream a bit clearer each time. But it is a lovely analogy, I agree.
Yeah, no, it is. I haven't quite finished the book. I'm nearly there. I did it through Audible like you, Holly, purely because I couldn't get my hands on a copy
Yeah.
in time of finding out that that was our book. I actually really enjoyed it, and I found myself stopping every time they shared the sutra. Like, I would stop and then I would think, right, I'm really going to kind of sit with that for a bit. I said to you a little while ago that I'm really focusing on my chanting, so it was a real nice opportunity, even though I didn't fully understand what I was delving into. It was a nice way to connect with the book, so I really enjoyed that. I was just looking at those 3 states, and I have to say the concentration is something I struggle with, but I do believe that I am cultivating an inner perceptual awareness. So I don't know whether people say, oh, you should start with the breath. I actually find that really triggering. I'm much better at it now, but I seem to have been doing it almost in reverse.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. And I can remember I found the hardest meditation when I first started was just to sit with the breath.
Yeah, I still struggle.
Yeah, and I think that's completely natural, especially given the time and age that we're living in. So if you think when the Yoga Sutras were written thousands of years ago, people would just, go to work, see their family, or do the bits they needed to do to survive. They didn't have smartphones, emails, TV, Netflix, all of these things where our mind is like on 20 things, cars where you're having to concentrate on like 5 different things while you're driving. People generally lived a lifestyle where you did one thing at a time. So I think getting to that level of concentration then probably was a lot easier. I think it was probably a lot more natural, because I know from myself the times where I've been on retreat or when I've been camping or something without electronics, it's a lot easier to focus and concentrate on one thing at a time. So we've got that additional karma, that additional challenge that we've chosen to accept in this lifetime. But it gets easier each time. And if the breath is particularly triggering for you, then you can still use concentration, but on a different focus. So you might decide to focus on what's going on in my body today and just focus on that. Or, if you want to really hone in, you can go, what's going on in my left hand today? And just put all your awareness in your left hand for 10 minutes.
I'm going to try that, because I think maybe if I step away from the breath and try something new, then I can eventually transfer it to the breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So if you're ready, let's get comfy. By the sounds of it, she's still being a right madam upstairs. I can hear my daughter going, no, no. I am looking at puppy training classes, I will tell you. Okay. But you know what? Even that, like getting a puppy, has been interesting for me in regards to like my practice, my spiritual practice, my because what I've realized is I'd gotten quite a routine with everything. It comes second nature. There was no kind of disruption. It was, I do my meditation every morning. I'm quite aware throughout the day. There was a rhythm. So we're on day 2 of puppy, and there's not much sleep going on. And puppy's trying to figure out, where to go to toilet. What can she chew? What can she not chew? What can she bite? What can she not bite? And my routine's gone out the window. Of course, it's out the window. And I've had to be really compassionate with myself about that, and be really kind of forgiving of myself about that, and just try and adapt the best I can. Kind of let go of that masculine routine of it's got to be at this time and this structure and look like this. And go, okay, what can I do? What feels good to me today? because yesterday was like my first day on my own with her, and so it was her first day in the house on her own with anyone, sort of thing. So she came on Wednesday evening, and so she became quite attached to me. And so I was, you know, poor little girl was anxious. She'd just left her family and stuff. So I'm sat here in proper mummy mode, you know what I mean? Completely compassionate, and I'm just going to give you cuddles all day. Kind of. And then I said to my husband when he came home, I said, I feel like I've had another baby. Like literally that feeling of, I can't have a bath, I can't do this, I'm waiting for someone to come home to take care of the dog so I can. And it's been really funny for me to have to go, wow, I'm just going to have to go with this and flow with this, and, you know, let go of how I think it should be. So there you go. Everything has a lesson, doesn't it?
As you say, Holly, just when you think you've got something figured out, they remind you that you don't.
Exactly. It's the universe taking you round again. Another cycle of the wheel, another cycle round of everything you thought you'd learn and you realize you haven't. And another lovely, humbling experience.
Indeed.
Okay. So as and when you're ready, I invite you to either close your eyes or soften your gaze. And bring your attention to the rise and fall of the belly. With each breath you take in and breathe out. And just noticing the rhythm that's happening for you in this moment. Whether it feels quite smooth and stable, more jittery, more chaotic. Whatever it is perfectly fine. And just allow your awareness to focus on the breath in the belly. And just notice if your attention drifts to thoughts or feelings. External noises or people around you. And just gently draw your attention back to that rhythm in the belly. That gentle rise and fall. And next, bringing your attention to what you can hear. What can you hear in the world around you? Next, noticing if there's anything you can smell. What scents and perfumes are coming to you in this moment? And see if you can let go with all of these as to whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad. Just allow it to be whatever it is. And noticing if there's anything you can taste in your mouth. Whether there's any particular aroma or sense within your mouth, despite the fact that you're not eating anything. And noticing now if there's anything that you can feel on your skin. Maybe the air, maybe the feeling of the clothes against your skin. See if you can allow yourself to just focus on that sensation. And even with your eyes closed, noticing if there's anything you can see. The color behind your eyes. Can you allow your attention to just rest there? And starting to bring your awareness to the feeling of the ground beneath you. The feeling of your seat or chair. Cushion or floor. And as and when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Now, as we were sat in that really simple meditation, I was surrounded by chaos. And the thing is, that's a perfect metaphor for our life, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like there's chaos everywhere. You know, you turn on, oh, you can't even turn on the news at the moment because it's so appalling. There can be, you know, chaos at work or in relationships or within our own head, within our own body. So doing these practices is a reminder that despite all the chaos, there is a peace and a stillness within all of that. So sometimes it's in those places of chaos that we can find a little bit of serenity, even a little bit. Some days it feels more challenging. And the more we practice within that chaos, the easier it becomes. How did you find that? Did you hear the distraction? Did you find that you wanted to be pulled into that? Could you stay focused?
I found that I did better with the sight and my hearing than I did with my sense of smell and taste.
Oh, interesting. You haven't had COVID recently?
No, haven't had it yet.
Might make it
Actually,
more
I think I had it before it was a thing. I'm not one to follow trends. I want it to be like first. So before it was a thing. Yeah. No, in the sense that I really tuned into the birds, the dog sound. I could hear multiple sounds, and I saw a book of light that kind of turns the pages, but I see that a lot when I do either that or the opening of a flower.
Oh, lovely.
As I breathe, I've kind of trained myself to see that. So that's what I saw. So I think it's just where I put most of my effort, whereas when I was trying to imagine, as soon as you said try to imagine eating without actually eating anything, it made me think of the film Hook. I don't know whether anyone's seen it. And the lost boys are sitting around a table and they're eating food, but there's nothing in the bowls. And the guy who's not a lost boy, Peter Pan, comes back and he's lost all of his magic. So he can't see the food, but all the little kids can. So I think it's just about trying to tune into that again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, sometimes it's about depth rather than breadth with these.
Yeah.
So you can spend half an hour just meditating on the sensation of taste. And then that will change and evolve throughout that half hour. And it sounds bizarre because you're not sat eating anything, but there will be a taste in your mouth and then it will develop and it turns into like this sense of bliss. I can't explain it. It's bizarre. It makes
I'm going to give it a go.
It's yeah. If you focus on any of these for a sustained period of time, you will notice a shift.
I'm literally going to spend my whole life meditating because I have so much to try out. People would be like, Tammy, you still yeah, I'm trying something new today, but I still have to do what I normally do because I like it.
You're like have no time for anything else.
I'm like, no, sorry, it's all blocked up today. Really sorry, I've got something new that I want to try out.
Yeah, do you know what? At one point, I remember being jealous of nuns, thinking, how lucky are they? They get to just sit and do this all day. And I thought, I never thought I'd be jealous of nuns. How does that happen? Just sit in prayer and meditation all day sounds wonderful.
I know. No better way to spend a day.
And you'll have to keep us updated how it goes if you do experiment with these.
I will. Well, I'm going to pick the two that I didn't really have a connection to as well. I want to test myself. I don't know why I always have to make everything a challenge, but I do.
If it works.
Can't help myself.
Oh,
hello.
Grumpy Puppy in the background.
I think the
How about
breath
you,
works
Fran?
quite well for me.
Say that again, sorry.
I think the breath works quite well for me because we used to do a lot of it, because I did do yoga before the pandemic. So a lot of it was focused on breath work. But I think because of the yoga practices, and there's so many different sorts of breathing.
Bear with me 2 seconds. Sorry, Fran.
Okay, mine's off now.
2 seconds. Hey, do you want to leave her, honey, and I will look after her. Hi. My daughter, bless her, trying to help, and Poppy is taking her for a ride, if I'm honest. Luna. Shut the door. No. Sorry, Fran.
That's okay. No, I think you get used to controlling your breathing though in yoga, because there are all the different sorts of breath that I find, you know, when you say, how is your breath today? Is it jittery? Is it calm? As soon as you say constant, you know, how is your breath, and think about your breath in your belly, it immediately slows and my breath goes into a certain state every time. It's not just my natural breath, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean, because, and I had the same thing when I started. Oh, bear with me. And I came from a similar background where we were kind of taught pranayama before we were taught how to meditate with the breath. Or if it was meditation with breath, it was control rather than just allowing. Whereas what I found is the the control helps with calming down the nervous system, but to get to that next level, we have to learn to just let it go and build it in. And that's a whole new practice in itself. And I agree. I think that's probably why I struggled with it in the beginning, because I kept thinking, am I letting it go? Am I controlling it? And then I would overanalyze it. Then I'd be in my head, and then I wouldn't be with the breath. So that in itself became quite an extensive practice, just trying to do that. If you do struggle with it, sorry.
It's okay.
No, I was just going to say, if you do struggle with it, one way that really helped me was counting it, because then it kind of took away the mental element of me wanting to control or overanalyzing it, because my mind was occupied on the counting and I could just be with the breath. So that's a nice transition.
Yeah, I did do sometimes, I don't know if you know, Deepak Chopra sometimes does those 21-day meditation things.
Yeah.
And he usually uses mantra. So he'll give you a mantra to say in your head for the, and I found that was really helpful for me, because you just sort of sink into this rhythm of saying this mantra. And that always worked for me.
Definitely. Mantra is a powerful tool for a vehicle to slow down the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many beautiful mantras out there. There's a few actually in past awakening practices we've used that might be worth having a look at. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that.
I've been looking at, you know, the previous things that I've missed, and that's definitely one. I'm trying to work through them in order, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Fabulous. Okay. So anything else come up for you, like through any of this, or the meditation, or?
No, I have to say, I think the reason why I was drawn to you and your method of meditation, Holly, was because you always used to say, take notice of the breath. All of my other variations were take a deep breath. And I don't like taking a deep breath. I don't want to take a deep breath. That doesn't make me feel good. So I think you've changed my view on breath work, and why I've been able to make so much progress in my meditation practice, 150 plus days without missing a single day. So it just shows. But what I think that was because it was no longer about controlling my breath. Now I just get to notice it. Now I just get to, and even with the mantras, which I also love, like the first one we ever did was Aham Brahmasmi, which I love. I use it often. But it was this whole idea of you don't have to take it perfectly every time. It doesn't have to be on the in-breath, or the taking away the perfection that I had attached to meditation has meant I can actually enjoy the process now. And when I find myself thinking about my shopping list, or the fact that I'm going boxing later on, I'll just go, okay, well, let's just go back to where we were at. The time has not gone yet. Whereas before I'd go, well, spent all of that thinking about what I was going to get from Tesco. Well, that was wasted. So that's what I think I've loved most about this journey, is the fact that there is no perfect way. And yes, we're aiming for enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, but I know I'm a way off that, so that there's not an expectation that I must achieve something by the end. I've done it. I've really, for me, taking the time is the most valuable part, because I'm reminding myself I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for any other reason. It doesn't matter what happens during it, and I've had some really powerful experiences, and then you have a powerful experience and you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to do it today, and then nothing happens, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I completely relate to that. I used to,
What is that all about? Powerful experience every time.
Yeah,
You'd be exhausted. But
that is true. Yeah, no, I've done it before. I remember spending 100 days with the koan, Who Am I? I had this one session that was so powerful, like really powerful. I felt like I'd completely up leveled my level of awareness of myself in a, felt like a guru, I'd gone like full blown into this bliss state. The next time I just sat there in a funk the whole time, felt like really couldn't get myself into it. It was like almost getting annoyed at the question. It was just like really, and it made me laugh and it humbled me. And it just made me think, you just got to go with what is. That's it. And that's meditation. Just going with what is.
yeah, I think there's many misconceptions about what meditation is, but also what you're trying to achieve in doing it, and letting go of all of those things that I had been told and had read, and undoing all of that. I read 10% Happier by Dan Harris, which was my first thing, where he was a American journalist. I work for ITV, so there was that connection there. And obviously I'm taking in, unfiltered images of Ukraine at the moment. It can be quite intense. And he was talking about, he used to do 10 minutes in his office just to kind of zone out. And when he first started, he was like, well, that was a waste of time. All I saw was flashing images of what I've been working on. And he said, just keep doing it, just keep doing it. And now, I have to say, I'm probably 10% happier. So, if not more. So it does work. You just got to stick at it. And if I do miss a day, I'm not going to go, oh my God, you finally missed a day. So what? But if you do 10 minutes or 2 hours, it's whatever you can manage.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. Beautiful.
Yeah. And I love the fact that I've got so much variety. I don't really feel like doing that today. I'll do something else because there's just so much to do. So I'm loving my chanting at the moment. I think my neighbours must think, what's going on in there? Yes, what is she doing?
Yeah.
But, it's fine.
I remember one day my daughter's friend had stayed over and I was doing my meditation in like the lounge in the morning. And I was working with a mantra or a question or something. I can't remember what I was working with. And I can remember hearing them go down the stairs, and my daughter's friend said to her, what's your mum doing? And my daughter went, oh, don't worry, she meditates. She's a bit weird. And like her friend was like, all right, and I just thought, yeah, who cares? Do you know what I mean? So that yeah, I think kids are great. It's just kind of helping you let go of your ego, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh well, it's been lovely to see you today. I hope I would say I hope I've given you a bit of peace in the chaos, but actually I hope I've given you chaos in your peace with my chaotic puppy, who is teaching me lessons every day, which I'm very grateful for. But it's so lovely to see you both. I know Claire. Sorry, Fran, I interrupted.
It's been lovely to see you as well.
Yeah, I always like the workshops when we can actually see each other as opposed to me just being live in the group, because I don't know, it's more of a two-way process. But yeah, what have we got coming up next? So Tuesday we've got our awakening practice. And this month's book of the month is Paths to God by Ram Dass, which is a fab book. I love Ram Dass. He's one of those people that he's just so interesting. His life, I love his life. You know, like some people you just think, wow, how fascinating is this man? And he puts the Bhagavad Gita into a really easy to follow and really relevant context for our life, as opposed to it being like something that was written thousands of years ago, a spiritual text that was written thousands of years ago that means nothing to us. But yeah, Ram Dass does a lovely way of kind of explaining what it means for us now. So I hope you enjoy reading that one. It's a completely different format, Fran. So it's not a big long list of sutras. It's lots of Ram Dass's anecdotes of his adventures and things like that. So it makes it a bit more interesting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. I've ordered it today, actually.
Oh, fabulous.
So I'll
Yeah.
get it tomorrow.
I'm gonna dig my copy out and reread it with you. Because it's been a while since I've read it. But yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, ladies, well, have a gorgeous weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Enjoy your puppy this weekend.
I will try. Wish me luck. And yeah, I will see you Tuesday. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Fran.
Bye.